Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. I had that weird thing happen again today. I don't know why, but it said chat is disabled on my, this is the live streaming software, and that's where it said that. I can see that there's chat going on inside of Google, but it's just a different way to get to it that I'm not used to. So, I'm assuming it's working. Let me know if there's a problem. Oh, my goodness. It's never simple. It's just never simple. Why it has to throw you a curve. You don't know that you're going to get that curve till you click to go live, and then that's when it tells you you got a problem. Wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't scheduled to go live at a certain time. I'm looking to see. I haven't seen anybody comment yet about anything. And it keeps going away whenever I click over there. I'm going to have to shrink this down where I can see it. There we go. That maybe works. I'm not really sure. Okay, it's working. Somebody says it's working. It's really hard to tell because you don't know you don't know what you don't know till you don't know it. Anyway, here is the 12 string. I thought we'd just take a look at that today. I have a piece of tape over the name up there because, due to unfortunate circumstances and I would say of his own doing, it ended up not going to the person that paid the deposit on this. In fact, I have kept it, and I kept the deposit. And I think rightly so, considering how much work it was to build this thing. It was a custom build, and it was going to Scotland. And you can see there that the Scottish flag is inlaid in there. It's backwards to me. This camera doesn't focus real well either, which is not a good thing. But you can see there the body of it. It's all real wood. I don't think there's really any plastic on it except for maybe these pins, and I can't remember. I think they are a tusk or something like that with pearl inlay. I think that's the only plastic on the guitar. Everything else is wood. It's got a wooden binding that I made. I don't know if you can see it, but there's multiple layers there. The focus on this camera is just not the best. And then I built the striping in the back too. I made everything on it, really. The bridge I made from scratch. Pretty much everything from scratch, really. The inlay there around the sound hole. And, whoops, then the peg head inlay. Might not be able to get that too close to you there. But, and then the name was inlaid, and it really did a nice job. I'm sad that I can't show you that name, but it really looks nice too. And then, of course, it's a multi-piece neck. I have the guitar tuned down a half step. So, in other words, instead of an E, it's a, I forget what I tuned it down to, D sharp. So instead of an E, this is a D sharp. So anyway, you won't be able to play along if I play it here. It'll just be it just is what it is. I don't have a capo to capo it up that half step. My capo got borrowed by somebody that I'm not going to mention. It never got returned. And since I don't play guitar much, it wasn't worth dealing with. The sides are Padauk. It's a very beautiful wood. I know most of you know about the Padauk from watching the previous videos, but Padauk is, well, it's as close to rosewood as you can get without being rosewood, I would say. In my opinion, it's about the most resonant wood there is. I have tapped on a lot of boards at a lot of exotic hardwood stores, and the Padauk is hard to beat. It really rings out. It rings like a wind chime compared to most other woods. I'm not saying you can't get that same ring or a similar ring with rosewood. You can, but I don't know any that actually beat Padauk. I mean, Padauk's just as good as any. So I like it a lot, and it's easy to get, and when you get it, you can usually find it quarter sawn like this. And it's pretty on top of that. I will tell you that when you're cutting Padauk, you're going to think something went wrong because it turns rust orange. Again, this is coming from a colorblind guy, but from my perspective, it looks just like rust, iron rust. And I'm talking about the kind that really turns the orangey color. You know, some rust doesn't turn all that bright, but some does. And this turns that bright orange color when you're cutting it, and you think, boy, that don't look like the same thing. But in just a short time, it ages to a different color like this, and it's beautiful. I just love it. The inlay on the fretboard is Scottish Trinity signs. Again, I can't really get it up close. It's hard. This big table's here, and I don't know if you can see them very well. But anyway, that is it. Let's see if I can, I don't know if I can play a song on it or not. I'll try to get the microphone around here, and it's kind of hard. I don't have a strap, so I got 3 or 4 other excuses, too, if you want to hear them. Well, the biggest one is I don't know how to play guitar very well. That's the biggest excuse. I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died. Well, they said for the last 2 weeks that he suffered and cried. Well, it made a big impression on me, though I was just a barefoot kid. Well, they said he got religion at the end, and I'm glad that he did. Clayton was the best guitar picker in our town. Well, I thought he was a hero. He used to follow Clayton around. Well, I often wondered why Clayton, who seemed so good to me, well, he never took his guitar and made it down in Tennessee. Daddy said he drank a lot, but I could never understand. 'Cause I knew he used to pick up in Ohio with a 5-piece band. Clayton used to tell me, son, you ought to put that old guitar away. He said there ain't no money in it, it'll lead you to an early grave. Now I guess if I'd admit it, Clayton taught me how to drink booze. Well, I can see him half stoned picking out the lovesick blues. And when Clayton died, I made him a promise that I was gonna carry on somehow. I'd give $100 if he could only see me now. Yeah, I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died. Nobody ever knew it, but I went out in the woods and I cried. Well, I've known a lot of fine preachers who know a lot more than I do, and it could be that the good Lord likes a little picking too. Oh, I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died. Anyway, I really do like this 12-string guitar. It doesn't get played at all. It's 4 years old, or it will be 4 years old in June. So it's not quite 4 years old yet, but it's got the same original strings on it, and it gets played, about this much each year. That's how much has been played. Really, it's been like 1 or 2 songs each time I get it out, and that's it. So I guess that'll just be a guitar that I'll hand down to my grandkids. That's about all it's ever going to amount to, I assume. It looks like the chat's still rolling there, so I guess everything's still cool. Let's go and see who's here in the chat today. Didn't do a lot outside or anything. Well, I didn't do much of anything other than just feed the wood furnace. It's so doggone cold. It's colder today than yesterday, but yet we didn't get below zero. I think I saw a comment there, did you get below zero? And I don't think we did. But it stayed low and stayed low all day today. I mean, I think maybe up to 15 or something now. I'd have to go look, but it's really cold. The other day, night before last, it was got all the way down to 0. Last night, I think it only got down to 3, but it stayed cold this time during the day, where yesterday it got up, I think, to 20 or something. Well, anyway, that's just the way it is. Rod Wintler, now, again, the chat may have gotten mixed up here. The top chat I see at the moment is Rod Wintler, and he says, Jerry, he's the one asking me if we got below 0, and I said, no, I don't think so. Let's see. There's Dottie praying for us. Thank you, Dottie. She says it's supposed to snow there in South Carolina in 30 minutes. Well, I hope you get your snow that you're looking for. Snow's fun if it's just snow, but when you get that ice with it, it's a pain in the neck. Joe Nigan, 17 degrees, extremely cold in southeastern Pennsylvania. Well, I don't even think we're up to 17 yet. I don't think so. It might be now. The sun is out. I can see the sun, but it was very cold this morning. And the humidity, it just makes it feel twice as cold. It really does. Zappa says, I'm in St. Louis on the south side of Forest Park at 7:30. It was -1. Yeah, I think this time we weren't the coldest place in the state, where a week or so ago we were, but the map I saw showed that north was much colder this time. So St. Louis is a bit north of us, not a whole lot north of us, but, yeah, it looks, let's see, the sun is shining, he says. Bill Rhodes, good afternoon, Jerry. And then he says, I sure hope it's warmer there than it is here. Well, not that I can tell. It's cold enough, I can tell you that for sure. Side note, this don't cost any extra. Have any of you guys been watching? I think I might have asked this once before. Have you been watching the Escape to Rural France? The guy is he's rebuilding a chateau that burnt down. The chateau, I don't even know if you could say how many stories it is. It's at least 3 stories, and you might even say it's 4 and maybe even 5 with the basement. It's got all kinds of crazy roofs on it, stone walls that go up. It's just like a castle, and he's rebuilding it from scratch. So if you haven't watched that, Escape to Rural France, he's probably got, I bet by now there's probably close to 200 videos out on it. They're all short videos, like 10 minutes long or something. So if you haven't watched it, you might want to go back to the very beginning and watch it, because man, it's been a pretty amazing transformation. He's still not that far. He's just now getting to the insides and starting to work on the insides. It was a huge project. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in. Didn't cost any extra. Escape to Rural France is what it's called. Let's see. Jason Wallen says, good morning, Jerry. -27 with a wind chill of -47. In Superior, Wisconsin. Yeah, I would bet it is cold off those lakes. Again, that humidity also, and just the water in general, man, it's cold. Golly, it's cold. It gets really cold. Let's see. Todd, Dottie must be priest always praying. Yeah? Well, ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Looking for the actual question marks. So if you're new here, if you put question marks in front of your comment, then I will read it. Otherwise, I tend to try to skip them because I'm a slow reader and I can't read them all. And I can barely read the ones that's got the question marks. Todd says, the angelic sound of a 12-string guitar. Gotta love it. Well, I do like to play them. They're a little more, they're not difficult to play. They're no harder to play in one way than a typical 6-string until you try to pick individual notes, and then it gets a little bit funky because the strings are, you got so many strings there, and they're kind of close together. Dottie says, would love to send my mandolin to Jerry and see if it sounds like his. It never sounds like what he's playing. Well, it wouldn't sound a whole lot better with me playing it. I can tell you that. If you send it to the boys in Springfield, that boy can make it talk. He definitely can make it talk. Me, I just beat on him. Rod Wintler, Dottie, I met a guy who got to pick on Earl's banjo years ago. It sounded no better than his own banjo. It's the software, not the hardware. Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was saying. If you send it to the guy in Springfield, I'd guarantee you it'll sound really good. He could play anything and make it sound really good. Let's see. Dottie, it's working, Jerry. Okay, thanks. Yep. Let's see. Rod Wintler, you are good. Okay. Bill Mumbo, evening from London. People coming through loud and clear. Good. Unless you could see the difference here, it's quite a difference for me. I'm having to, it's just different. So let me see here. It just feels, whenever you're doing something like this live, with the pressure of doing something live, to have something out of the norm just makes it that much more pressure. Wavy gravy. How many foot-pounds of pressure, speaking of pressure, is there on a 12-string guitar bridge? Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but that's why I tune it down a half step. Some people tune them down, a full step, 2 notes down. I find the strings get a little bit floppy when you do it that way, so a half step down is kind of good. You can always put your capo on your first fret, and then you're back up to normal pitch. Of course, everything slides down a fret. You know what I'm saying? See, Bill Rhodes, that's got a beautiful back. Well, thank you. It scrolled on me there. I lost where I was. Lost it. Okay, here we are. Dottie says, beautiful guitar, shiny cage. Hi, everyone, from Kent in the UK. Let's see. Eddie, hi, Jerry. Very nice guitar. Seems like the fretboard goes further to the sound hole compared to the 6-string. No, not really. It's got I made a different shape on this one. I made it the shape of the sound hole, which a lot of times they just go straight across, But it's the same exact fret scale and everything. You know me, I just take my liberties where I find them there, and I thought it looked cool to have it the same shape. There's other I've seen other guitars that do that same thing. It wasn't my original idea. It's just the idea I had on that particular guitar. Let's see. Preston Johnson, man, that's a beautiful sound. The guitar. Haha, no, Jerry, always sounds great. Well, thank you. Let's see. Rod Wintler, beautiful. Okay, thank you. Bill Rhodes, fantastic song. Yeah, that is a really well-written song. Old Tom T. Hall, he didn't write a whole lot of bad songs. He was a good songwriter. He really was. Paul Lanier, hi from snow in southeast Louisiana. First snow in my life that is this deep. I have seen snow before about 6-8 times in the past. Well, my goodness. Record breaking, huh? That's pretty cool. Well, it's kind of cool. If it don't last too long, it's always pretty to see. When they hang on forever, that's when it starts to get kind of old. Ours still hanging on on the shaded hillsides, it's still here. Let's see. And the roads are still fairly icy because that ice was packed on there. So it's still pretty icy. Wavy Gravy, it's colder than Abe Lincoln's grandmother in central Indiana, and that woman is cold. David Tharp, I picked up a new book today. It's called Overcoming Kleptomania. Let's see. Vic Flowers, 30 and sunshine in Duncanville, Texas. Good afternoon. Gee whiz, that's a heat wave. The spoken song. When you have the temperature you have today, how many times a day do you fill the furnace? Well, presently, I'm anywhere from 6 to 8 hours putting wood in it. Under normal temperatures, which in normal to me in the winter should be in the upper 20s, like 26 and higher, to say 35-ish or 6, somewhere in there. That's kind of a normal cold day in the Ozarks here. Under those temperatures, 12 hours, you can get by with, but not now. And, now the people that sold me this before they knew how big my house was and everything, they would say, oh, you fill this thing once a day, it'll heat your house. I go, not this house. They didn't believe me, really. They didn't. And no, I knew it wouldn't. I was hoping to get 12 hours out of it, but only get 12 hours out of it on a reasonable kind of temperature day. So if you were averaging around 32, you can get about 12 hours. And then what you don't also understand is when you fill it up, it's well over one full contractor wheelbarrow full of wood. In other words, it's pretty close. And you could put more in it, but I usually put close to 2 contractor wheelbarrows full of wood in it every 12 hours, or now about every 6 hours. So you can see how you can run through a whole lot of wood really fast. It don't take very long at all for your wood to be gone. And I know I get it. It's a lot of work, and why am I doing it? And that's just stupid, and I get it. I totally get it. It's just what I'm doing. Let's see. Uh-oh. I lost my place. It looks like a ton of them came in here. Let's see. Okay. Bill Mumbo, Leo Kotke plays 12-string fairly well. Yeah. You can do it. I mean, I'm not used to playing any guitar, and so when I pick up a 12-string, it's a little bit more awkward. It's more awkward on my pick hand than the noting hand. The noting hand's real easy. I mean, it's as easy as any 6-string, in my opinion. In fact, I find it easier. Maybe it's because I play mandolin. Those double strings feel normal to me on my left hand. But the strings down at the body are, it's a little bit more difficult to pick the specific string because you don't have so much space in between them. But if you were used to it, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Gary Cooper, the mandolin that was up for auction, what did it go for, money-wise? Truth is, I don't remember, and I don't. I can't even remember which mandolin it was at this point. Sorry, I'd tell you if I could remember, but I can't remember. I don't know. Stuff, I do so many things that I don't focus on anything unless I need to focus, if you know what I'm saying. It's just like I just go through the motions, get it done, and then go on to the next thing because I got so many things going on. So I just don't remember. I mean, if I dwelled on it a while, I probably could remember, but I can't right now. Shiny Cage, Jerry, are you and your band doing one of your home concerts soon? Well, not really. Not right away anyway. Yeah, I don't know. We might get back into it in February, but we're probably not going to do one this month. At least I haven't talked to them about it, so Gino Hitch, Jerry and friends, beautiful guitar. Have you heard from Sue yet? Yeah, I've heard from her a few times. She's having a good time down there in her 80-degree weather on the beach. I don't know how many of them went down there, but I'm going to say about 7 gals went down there. One of them is my daughter, Rochelle, and Sue, and then a bunch of Sue's girlfriends. Let's see, Captain Bubba, cold here in California. I think it says 51 degrees and pellet stove constantly. Okay, well, 51 degrees, I wouldn't probably have my furnace going at that point. Bill Mumbo, Jerry, I tuned my old Echo 12 down to D, but it is 52 years old now. Straight neck, low action. Yeah, that's a full step down, and that's okay. It just depends on how the strings feel, if they feel okay. And you could get by with that for sure. Ronald Todd, if you were to sell that 12-string, what would you consider as an asking price? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I was building it for $6,500 if I remember right. So that's about all I know. I don't plan to sell it. Ronald Todd, I read that one. Let's see. Oh, no, that's the second. Oh, it appears twice. Okay. And then Ronald Todd again says, bad internet today, in and out all day, so no more from me. I'll catch back up when I can. Okay. Bill Mumbo, let's see. And then Ronald Todd again says, bad. Okay. He's repeating everything twice. And now it's the third time. It says, if you were going to sell that. So that one's a third time it's popped up there. So your internet must be giving you trouble. Let's see. Dottie says, you made the mandolin for your friend and he died. Okay. Let's see. There's been a couple of those, and I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was no. I think the one that I thought the one I recently sold was the guy down in, I think, Louisiana or something, and he just got old and couldn't play it anymore. It seems like that was the one. I can't remember, honestly. I just can't. There's just too much water running under the bridge. And I'm sure the age thing too, but it seems like it's more for me, it's how many things I'm doing. And I truly have the ability to just not try to remember stuff. Because I have so much to remember. I can, if I know it's important, then I'll pay attention to it and I'll put it in the memory banks. But if it's not, then I just let it go because it's something I don't need anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those facts that I don't need anymore. So I just have the ability to turn them loose. I've always been that way too, actually. Let's see. Eddie D. Okay, Jerry, I knew something looked different on the fretboard Cool Edition. I wonder if that extra fretboard would add more strength near the sound hole. Well, it doesn't hurt anything. It makes it a bit more rigid, and rigidity and even the weight. Of course, the 12 string's got plenty of weight because it's got these heavy tuners on it. When you got 12 tuning keys up there. Now, these are the minis, but they're still heavy. And so the sustain gives it, the sustain improves when you have a heavy peg head like that and a heavy neck. And the neck is a Paduke neck also, so it's a heavy neck. Or I think it is. No. No, I put a mahogany neck on it to lighten it up because I knew it was going to be heavy with all those keys on there. So it's plenty heavy. Let's see, Ronald Todd. Zappa Leo Kaki is a little better than fairly well. Yeah, I'm sure he is. I know that name, but I really don't know anything that he does, to be truthful. Ben Boyd, do you file the depth gauge when sharpening your chainsaw? Yeah, I do knock the depth, those, there's a term for those things, depth guide, I guess, but there's another term. I can't think of it. But anyway, I do file those down every so often. If you file them too much, though, your chainsaw takes too big a bite, and, it cuts the power down, really. So it's good to file them every so often, like maybe every third or fourth time I file the chain. Well, then I'll knock those down a little bit. But I'm not, believe it or not, with that chainsaw sharpener, and I know a lot of people, this is the reason they say you can't use those things. You waste too much chain. I don't. I barely take off anything. In fact, I take it off right to that front edge, right wherever the edge is worn. That's how far I take it off, and it's easy to control. So I don't know why people think that they just eat the chains up so much. I don't have that problem. I sharpen them and sharpen them and sharpen them and sharpen them and sharpen them, and then they get down to the last little tiny bit there, and then I get a different chain. And they cut just as good on that little tiny bit as they do on that full tooth. It's amazing. Before I figured out what was wrong with that sharpener, I wouldn't have given you 50 cents for the doggone thing. But once I finally figured it out, golly, it's worth its weight in gold. Let's see. Raker teeth. That's what they call those, raker teeth. I couldn't think of the term. So I do file the rakers every so often, but probably 3 or 4 times before I knock them down again. Bill Mumbo, let's see. Well, I don't see any question marks there. Shiny Cage there says, Jerry, is there not a way to take out that guy's name in the 12 string? It must a bit like seeing that on there. Well, I just put that on there for the video here today. I don't have it on there ordinarily, and his name's on there, but I'd have to remake it. That's the truss rod cover, and its name is inlaid in the truss rod cover. So if I made a new truss rod cover and put my name in it or something like that, then, but it's just, I got more to do than I can shake a stick at. So it just is what it is. Anyway, but I would like to do that. It's just getting around to it, and I doubt I will get around to it, to be honest with you, because there's just so many other things I need to get around to. You wouldn't believe how many things I could put on a list right now. It's gotten worse. I need to put a new roof on the well house behind the house, and the water wheel, the Bobcat needs work. The dump truck needs work. I've got a 4-wheeler that I want to rebuild. I would like to add on to my shop. There's a million things. I mean, like a million. There's like impossible. And right now, it's impossible to do it because of the temperatures, number one, and number two, because I'm cutting so much firewood. So it's hard to make the time. And that's an excuse. I mean, if I could motivate myself, I could go down there today and make that. But can I motivate myself? No, I can't. I can tell you already, it's too cold. I just don't feel like dealing with it. Let's see. Garland Edmondson says, beautiful guitar from Backside, P.S. Flint, Michigan, or Holly 6-inch. Wow. Okay, I don't guess I know what we're saying there. But thank you for the compliment there. And you're from Michigan, it looks like. Let's see. Dottie says, thought you were supposed to be retired. Yeah, no kidding. I got more to do than Carter's got liver pills, and that ain't no kidding about that. And then I like to do stuff too, like go metal detecting, but who's got time for that? And I really would like to do more of that because I want to find more Civil War stuff. I know there's more back there. Jeff Puris, is the water wheel a big block of ice right now? Yeah, it kind of is. It is. Let's see, Friday it warmed up a whole lot, and then it was clean and clear for Friday and Saturday. And then I think Sunday it started to freeze up again, and I imagine it's completely froze again right now. I haven't been down there yesterday or today, I don't think. See, Bill Mumbo, Leo Kaki is a fantastic player and a self-depreciating, humble man. Been a fan for at least 30 years. Got many CDs, tapes, etc. Yeah, I've heard his name a lot. I should look him up, and I'm probably seen at least one video online, but I can't recall anything by it right now. Eddie, Jerry just thinks spring. You only have about 3 months to go. Well, I always think by the end of February, so really a month and a half, it's pretty much spring here. I mean, end of February, we still get some bad weather in March, but nothing like this. And once March gets here, I'm pretty much in high gear. Dottie says she would love more Rosa CDs. Well, thank you. Wavy Gravy, part of the original recording of Great Instrumental Classical Gas was performed on a 12-string. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. This is, by the way, this is the third 12-string that I've built. The first one looked a whole lot like this one. It wasn't quite as fancy. It was more plain, but the same woods, I think. It looked a lot like it. And then the second one I made with a mahogany back and sides, and otherwise it was pretty much the same. And the first one stayed in the St. Louis area, and the second one went to someplace in Oklahoma. And this one, so far, stayed in Newburgh. Let's see. Bill Mumble says, also, you guys check out Adrian Legg, incredible player. Yeah, I've probably said this before, but the only thing I can't stand is talent. Like those guys down in Springfield, the Chapmans down there, those guys have got some talent now. Yeah, that's the only thing I can't stand is talent. Let's see. While we are talking 12 strings, let's not forget Lead Belly. I've heard that name too, but yeah, you could put a gun to my head. I couldn't tell you anything about it other than I've heard that name. Guys, that's going to be it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. We will see you tomorrow with something else. Don't know what it'll be. Probably won't be anything outside. Well, unless weather really changes. Thank you for being here. See you tomorrow.